for Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Part 2, presented in a storytelling movie recap style to Movie Shorts Hub channel. Hub presents Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Part 2. This story picks up right after the events of the first film, on the day of Will and Elizabeth's wedding. But things take a dark turn when Lord Cutler Beckett, chairman of the East India Trading Company, crashes the ceremony and arrests both Elizabeth and Will for helping Captain Jack Sparrow escape. He also holds an arrest warrant for James Norrington for failing to do his duty. But Norrington had already quit, dove into the sea, and went off to hunt down Jack Sparrow himself. Now Will and Elizabeth face the death penalty for their crimes. But Beckett offers Will a deal. Bring back Jack Sparrow's compass, and both he and Elizabeth will be pardoned. So Will bids Elizabeth farewell and sets off. Meanwhile, Jack Sparrow is seen aboard the Black Pearl with a piece of cloth that has a sketch of a mysterious key. He tells his crew the key will open a chest, and that chest holds something very valuable. But Jack is clearly hiding the truth. He already knows exactly what that key unlocks. Later that night, Jack looks at his compass, but it doesn't seem to be working right. So he goes below deck, where he's greeted by Bootstrap Turner, Will's father, who's somehow still alive. Bill reveals that he once served under Jack aboard the Black Pearl. Years ago, Jack made a deal with Davy Jones, a cursed sea demon. Jones would raise the pearl from the depths, and in return, Jack would serve him for 100 years, after a grace period of 13 years as captain. Those 13 years are now up. Bill himself also made a deal with Davy Jones to escape death and is now one of his cursed crew. He grabs Jack's hand and marks him with a black spot, a symbol that alerts Jones and his beast, the Kraken, to Jack's location. Jack panics and orders his crew to set sail somewhere, anywhere. Soon after, a monkey, belonging to the resurrected Barbossa, steals Jack's hat and tosses it into the sea. The hat is picked up by other sailors, and soon after, the Kraken destroys their ship, confirming the legend is real. Back in Port Royal, Elizabeth's father helps her escape. She disguises herself and leaves to find Will. Will, meanwhile, finds the Black Pearl on an island, but is captured by a cannibal tribe. There, he discovers Jack is posing as their chief. Jack tells Will that he needs the compass to save Elizabeth from execution. But instead of helping, Jack has Will locked in a cage. Turns out, Jack's crew is also imprisoned. The tribe believes Jack is possessed by a holy spirit that must be freed by eating him. Jack is about to be sacrificed when a tribe member announces the prisoners are escaping. In the chaos, Jack and the crew make a daring escape and return to the Black Pearl. Jack tells them that Lord Beckett doesn't just want the compass, he wants the key to a chest, which they now must find. They head to Tia Dalma, a voodoo priestess who once crafted the compass. She explains that the compass points to what the holder most desires. But Jack's heart is conflicted, so it's not working properly. She reveals that Davy Jones's heart is locked inside a chest, and the key is always with him. She gives Jack a jar of dirt for protection because Jones cannot step up on land while it's in Jack's possession, and tells them where to find the Flying Dutchman, Davy Jones' ghost ship. Will volunteers to sneak aboard and steal the key. Jack warns him. If caught, say Jack sent him to repay his debt. The Dutchman rises from the sea, and Will is captured. He meets Davy Jones, a grotesque tentacled creature. Will repeats Jack's excuse, but Jones demands 100 more souls from Jack to pay his debt, or Jack will be bound to his cursed crew. Jones gives Jack 3 days to find the 99 remaining souls. Jack sails to an island and tricks people into joining him, but only gathers 4. Norrington also appears, hoping to capture Jack and reclaim his lost honor. Meanwhile, Elizabeth catches up with Jack, now disguised in a new identity. She asks where Will is, and Jack reveals that he's aboard the Flying Dutchman. To save him, they must find the chest with Davy Jones's heart. Jack gives her the compass, knowing she'll desire to find Will. With the compass, they begin their journey to the dead man's chest. Aboard the Dutchman, Will finds his father, Bootstrap Bill. He reveals that Davy Jones always keeps the key on him. Later, Will joins a dice game against Jones and wagers his soul in exchange for the key. When Will is about to lose, his father cheats to help, but Jones catches it and sentences him to eternal servitude on the Dutchman. That night, with his father's help, Will steals the key while Jones sleeps and escapes. The next day, everyone converges on an island where the chest is buried. Jack, Elizabeth, and James all want it for different reasons. James wants it to gain favor with Beckett. Will wants to destroy the heart and free his father. Jack wants to bargain for his own freedom. The 3 fight a spectacular sword duel, eventually reaching a church. As the bell rings, Davy Jones' cursed crew arrives. In the chaos, the chest is snatched, dropped, stolen again, and finally Jack manages to grab it and hide the heart in the jar of dirt. But he's attacked again. And eventually, the crew of the Dutchman retrieves the chest, only to discover it's empty. Jack and his crew flee back to the Black Pearl. The Dutchman follows, but the Pearl is the fastest ship on the sea. Just as they think they're safe, the Kraken attacks, sent by Davy Jones himself. Jack initially flees, but returns to help. The crew prepares to fight back using barrels of gunpowder and alcohol. Jack shoots the Kraken in the mouth with a lit shot, injuring it temporarily. Elizabeth thanks Jack for returning, then betrays him by chaining him to the mast. She knows the Kraken only wants Jack, not the rest of them. The crew escapes as Jack faces the Kraken alone. Jack draws his sword and charges straight into the Kraken's mouth. The Kraken drags the Black Pearl down into the sea. Far away, Davy Jones opens the chest, only to find it empty. Enraged, he screams in agony. Back in Port Royal, James Norrington delivers Davy Jones' heart to Lord Beckett, granting him control over the seas and regaining his position and honor. Elizabeth, Will, and Jack's remaining friends grieve at Tia Dalma's hut. She asks, "Would you go to the end of the world to bring Jack back?" Everyone says yes. Then, Barbossa appears, alive and well, and says, "So tell me, where is my ship?" Post-credit scene shows the cannibals worshipping the dog left behind on the island. This movie was released in 2006, had a budget of $220 million, and grossed over 1.06 billion worldwide. IMDb rating 7.310. Hope you enjoyed this wild pirate adventure. Let me